versus feelings. Growing up as a active youth minister in Grace House Youth Ministry Center and my youth group and things of that nature and all other retreat programs I've been involved in, emotion plays a high part in bringing a person to the faith. When you're on these retreats, and I could think of many examples. The impact retreats at Grace House, the Camino retreats, the Horizon retreats. There's a lot of strong, especially the Horizon retreats were very strong emotion because the target population for those retreats were young people that were in foster care placement, home placement, and they had it pretty rough. So they would, like, when they would open up, they would really open up, and they used to like mess all of us up, rightly so. But to assure them of God, assure them of God's salvation, and to let them know that God doesn't make junk, that God makes all of us beautiful, and that He created all of us in His image and likeness, so that we can share with Him forever heaven. And also to show them that they are good and awesome now. They don't have, I think the whole point of youth ministry is not so much to show them that there is a heaven and that one day they'll go there. I think it's more about how we can enjoy that now. Myself included, we were all stuck with different modes of low self-esteem. So even though these retreats were different from me growing up, they all had one thing in common, and that is that at the end of the retreat, there was a lot of crying and a lot of sniffling and a lot of hugging and a lot of, affirmation seeking of our worth. And that's completely natural and completely good. Here's where it gets tricky, though. As time goes on and as we get older, and as we become more, I guess, thick-skinned or accustomed to our experiences, and we become more responsible adults, it seems as if for some people, the feeling of salvation is all that they held on to. Let me explain. It's one thing to feel awesome at the end of a retreat. I experience it still to this day. If I go on a retreat and I come back, I'm like on cloud 9. But one thing I started learning as I got older is that those feelings go away after a while. So then what, right? I mean, does that mean God is gone too? No. It simply means that the feeling and the nostalgia and the crying and the tears and things of that nature are gone, but not the reality of who God is and how we're supposed to depend on Him even when we're not feeling great. I think for a lot of people who grew up in this along with me, those that left the faith ultimately, I think they were depending on that a little bit too much. And this is my opinion. I'll be honest with you. I can't read their thoughts. I don't know their minds. This is based on my observation of certain individuals that I've known throughout the years that are just not into the God thing anymore. They and some of them are, but they've moved on and stopped becoming Catholic. They've gone to an evangelical church or a Pentecostal church and all that, because when you're there, there's a lot of emotion there. If you've gone to an evangelical service, you know what I mean. The jumping, the arms in the air, the praising, the tears coming down your eyes, the altar call and things of that nature. All well and good, but that doesn't solidify anything. All it does is give you the same thing that the retreats that we grew up gave us, an emotional experience. But where is the spiritual? And that's when we have to discern the spiritual from the emotional. Our spiritual growth is not just based on what we feel. It's part of it, but it's not all of it. It's also based on what we know, what we learn about the faith. And the more we learn about our faith, particularly our Catholic faith, the more solidified and the more affirmed, I guess, is our feelings when they do come up. Because feelings are human reactions. They're natural and they're good, but they come and go. Knowledge doesn't. Once you know something, you know something. And that's it. So for those of us who left the faith because and know what they left, we can't call them ignorant. There's a difference between being ignorant and ignoring. And some people have just chose to just ignore what they've learned. And it hurts me. It breaks my heart. Some others that I do know that I also grew up have held on to the faith as well. I could think of a couple who to this day we still connect and we still pray and we still this is what it's really about. And do we have these emotional retreat experiences on the regular basis that we used to when we were younger? Of course not, because we have families. We're older now. It's a different dynamic. But the realities, the spiritual realities are not. And I think that is the most important thing that I want anybody listening to this is to come away with. If you've had these retreat experiences growing up and you feel like it's now just coming down to just going to mass every Sunday and you're kind of bored at that, don't be. Because you learn the faith. Read up on it. Read books by Peter Kreeft or Scott Hahn. There's so many websites now. The Catholic Gentleman for the guys. And I'm sure there are definitely websites there for the ladies as well, and general ones. Catholic Answers is a great website where you can learn the riches of the faith. Why do we believe what we believe? Okay, all right, God created me special. Why did he do that? It's good to learn these things. Read up on the catechism of our faith. I'm telling you, if it wasn't for those things, I wouldn't be Catholic anymore. I'll probably be trying to seek the emotions and the shaking and the crying in some Protestant church probably. The only other alternative for that for me would have been atheism. And I'm not going to go there. So that's my message to you guys here from Rev 21 Films. Remember, it's not just about feeling. Feelings is something, but it's not everything. Learn the faith. Take care.